What's up? It's your boy Karceno here. And of course, you all have heard the news about Muhammad Ali. We lost a great one today. And it just brings everything back in perspective because everybody remembers Ali for what he done in the ring and what he done outside of it. You know, you're going to see it on ESPN, you're going to see it on CNN, Fox, everywhere else. And to each person, it affects them differently. But it's amazing that after all these years, people still call him the greatest. And some people, like us and my age, we never really were alive when he was fighting. But the things he done outside of the ring transcended his entire career as who he was as a person. Because he took a stand for something back when most people in his position, with everything to lose more than gain, actually did. Translation to that is when he made the decision to not go to war, he was the heavyweight champion of the world. Okay? The hell no we won't go was more bigger than anybody could ever imagine because no one in his position with everything at his feet lost so much, and so much mental strain is put on him and his family because he was cut off from a lot of financial ties in this country who definitely did not like the fact that he was heavyweight champion anyway because of the color of his skin. And this is back in the early 60s, 30 years ago. Just 30 years ago, there was no black people living where I live now. Where I live back here, in this rich area, no blacks was over here. Right now, the cops would be right now beating me upside the head with a billy club 30 years ago if I was in this area. And we've come a long way since then. But the things he did, taking a stand, it got worldwide appeal to a whole nation of problems. And it exposed a lot of the situations like Dr. King did. It exposed a lot of situations that people outside of the United States didn't know about or thought people were blowing it out of proportion. But when you see the heavyweight champion being stripped, not being able to fight, and people like, what are you doing? Like the people who went to war anyway, they weren't out there on the front lines. They weren't going to have Ali doing anything. It was beside the point. He didn't want to be there anyway. He didn't want to go out there to be it'll be a show of unity. You go out there and support the troops. His thing of, I didn't want to go, was the fact that because of his religious beliefs, he didn't want to be there. And he had that right. He didn't join the Nation of Islam just because he didn't want to go to the war. He actually believed in Islam. And due to his belief, he didn't feel like that country deserved for him to go over there and try to kill those people. He couldn't go and sign off on that. And I could feel him on that. But I met Ali back in 2003, I believe that was, 2003. He came here with Joe Frazier, Smoking Joe, and a lot of other athletes were there. It was one of those autograph signings. And it was one of the first times in history we actually got to see Muhammad Ali back in Chicago. I was in his ex-wife's house, his first wife, Sonia Clay. My mom dated her son, who's not Muhammad Ali's kid. This is after they got divorced and she came back to Chicago. She ended up having a son named Rock. And Lord and behold, he lived in Hyde Park. But I met him, Muhammad Ali, in 2003. it was such a line to get to him, you couldn't really see him. So at the end of the day, when we met Muhammad Ali, he was in the back telling stories, and talking to the small group that was there, and we couldn't take pictures or none of this stuff at all. You can only get the autographs if you were in the certain group at the Stevenson Center. And while he's telling the stories, he's telling the story about his gold medal. And it was the best story I've ever heard about Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali went to the Olympics, won gold, and he's treated like a king over there. Like, they're cheering for him, and he's feeling like he's on top of the world because he wanted to win a gold medal to bring change. He thought, okay, now I'm going to get some respect because I went and won a gold medal for this country. And he comes back to Louisville, Kentucky, and he can't even get a cup of water. And it hadn't changed anything. It was so diverse in Kentucky, and he was just tired of it one day and went to this diner that he knew he couldn't go into, and he sat there. He had his gold medal on. He sat there at the diner, and the guy's like, "What are you doing here? You know you can't be in here." He was like, "I'm hungry. I want this. I want that. I want this." He's like, "We don't serve niggers in here." He was like, "Good, because I don't want to eat them. I want this meal, and I want that meal." So the guy is all mad. He was like, "Get out of here before I call the police." He's like, "I just went out there and fought for this country and boxed in the ring and won the gold medal." He's like, "I don't care, you fancy nigga. We don't care. That don't change nothing here. You still a nigga." And that's got him to thinking. I just went and did all this for this country, stood on the podium, everything. Took pictures with this gold around my neck, and it don't mean anything. So he stood over a bridge, took the gold medal off his neck, threw it in the ocean. He threw it in the ocean. And many years later, back in like 91 or something, like many moons later, they gave him back his medal because of the reason of why he threw it away. Hurt and the pain he felt from that. And that was the best Muhammad Ali story I've ever heard. Because the man stood up for values, no matter what. He stood up for what he believed in, no matter what people thought of him. And he didn't feel bad when he got Parkinson's. He just said, "Hey, I got Parkinson's. Other people have Parkinson's. Whenever it's my turn to go, I'm good spiritually. So whenever that time may come, I'll be ready for it." He didn't fear death, and as no man should, he accepted it. But he just wanted to make sure he was right spiritually. And I just want to say, I'm honored to have the privilege to see him, and glad to have seen a lot of things that he done. He accomplished so much. He had such a great personality, touched people's hearts. And hopefully we're able to do that as people. Get along with everybody. There's no reason why we can't. Some people don't want to get along with everybody, and that's their prerogative. But you don't have to impose that will on everybody else. If you don't want to get along with nobody, that's fine. Just stay on your own. But I'm going to miss Muhammad Ali, like a lot of us will. It's going to be a lot of stories I'm going to be listening to. As I found this information out during my walks that I take, it just started coming through the phone. So I said, well, let me go ahead and record something right now before I even get back to the house. Because wasn't for people like him, I wouldn't even be able to live out here or anywhere out here or do stuff like this in this nice community. So you always got to pay respect and homage to the people that laid a foundation for you to be a productive citizen. And I'm out.